So the next object after we've created our dovetail box that we're going to do is going to be a box that has an interference fit. So just as we've done before, we're going to go ahead, create a new design, and we're going to set up our basic parameters. So after we set up our basic parameters, we're going to click OK, and we will go ahead and just as we've done before, actually before we start a new sketch, we'll want to create some components. So we're going to create our box, and we'll create a lid. We'll start off with the box first, and creating our sketch, we're going to use our rectangle tool. We're going to go width, and then we'll go height. I'll make sure I actually select the correct ones this time. We'll extrude the length, and we'll go through the top and do our shell. Now with our box made, we're going to actually jump over to the lid a little bit earlier. And so the lid that we're going to make is actually going to slide around the outside of our box. Similar to the example I showed in class, we'll go ahead and select our lid, and we'll create it from the top of the box. We're going to project the outermost parts of our box. And rather than choosing the whole box again, I'm just going to choose the outside edges. And I'll click OK. And I'm going to apply my offset tool. And if I leave chain selection on, that'll allow me to select all 4 of those lines that I created before. This offset is going to be our gap value. And we'll go ahead and press enter. I'm going to select offset again. And you can't select a previously done offset value. So I'm going to select the previous value or the previous edges of the projection that we did before. And my offset position is going to be gap plus shell. So whatever our shell thickness is, this lid will also adapt to that. And I'll click OK. I'm going to finish my sketch. I'm going to go to my home view like this. And now I'm going to choose extrude. Now for the first part here, I'm going to select all 4 of these shapes because I want to extrude this up. We need to get some thickness to the box. So we'll extrude it upwards, and we're going to go up at a distance of our shell. Now when you use a sketch for an extrusion or anything else like that, it tends to hide your sketch, and we want to go back and get some of that data again. So I'm going to go to my sketches. I'm going to click the little eyeball here to make it visible again. After I do that, I'm going to extrude, and just like we were able to before, we can now select a single part of it. This will be set to our height. Now you'll notice how mine is going the opposite direction. It's wanting to do a cut. So instead of going regular height, I'm going to say negative height. What that should do then is build the wall all the way down around our object, keeping it nice and flush. And now we're going to go ahead and hit OK. I can now hide my sketch that I made previously. And another feature that I'm going to add to this so that we can easily separate the 2 pieces together is we're going to create a hole that's going to go into the top up over here. Now, before I do that, I'm going to add a new parameter, and we'll call this hole. For this, that way we can quickly change the size of the hole. That way, if we make our box too large or anything like that, we can make a hole, or at least quickly edit the hole to go back up and edit that. So for this, what I'm going to set up is I'm going to set up a value, for now anyways, that's going to be 5 millimeters. You can get fancy and add some type of equation, say half our height, half our width, half our length, but for this I'm just going to say 5 for now, and then I'll hit OK. So now, with my lid still selected, I'm going to choose the hole tool. I'm going to go ahead and click the top of the lid that we already created. For my references, this side here going to the right and this side over here going to the back. Now the distance from the left side to the right is going to be width divided by 2. But you notice how it's not center. That's because we also have the shell thickness to account for. So let's go ahead and say shell plus width divided by 2, and that'll move it perfectly over to the center. Now, the opposite one that I'm going to do here is our shell plus length divided by 2. And now we should always have a hole that'll be perfectly centered up to our object here. We'll click OK. And so no matter how large we make our box, if I go over here and I change our parameter to 20 for our length and 20 for our width, we notice that the hole is still centered up to our box. We can also easily adjust the size of the hole. And we can say, for instance, let's go 7 millimeters. But what happened is I didn't assign my hole to actually be set up to that size. So now I have to go back here. I'll define that value as hole. Now we see it going there. As far as distance goes, I'm just going to say through all. But if I say through all, it wants to go down to the bottom there. So we can either say a distance of shell, because that should always put it through the object, or just as we did in the previous with the dovetail, we could say 2, and then we can hide the box and put it there. So I'll click OK. And now we have a hole that will always be at the center of our box. I can even go back here and now change this. If I set it to 10 and hit OK, we now see that we have the larger hole. For now, I'm going to keep it at 7. I'll click OK. Now the purpose for the hole that we have here is primarily just to make sure that we can go ahead and push it downward, push the box downward from the inside here to separate them, because we are going to be making an interference fit. Now to make our interference fit, we're going to be editing our box. I'm going to hide the lid for now. And just as we saw with the dovetail, it's going to be important for us to primarily focus on setting up our points with constraints and things like that. So we're going to add a couple of construction lines, or at least construction planes to help us out. What better way to go with than the midplane? So in order to make a midplane, you have to select two faces. I'm going to select the two opposite faces here. We'll now have a midplane, and as we change the parameters of our drawing, it will always move this to keep it middle. So I'm going to click OK. I'm going to make another midplane on the opposite faces like this. So I have a nice little intersection down the center here. Another item that we can do that's a little bit of overkill is we can also set an axis through two planes. Or you can set an axis through any of the other different features here. So with my Create a Sketch tool, I'm going to create it on my front face. And just as we did before, we're going to project. We're going to click OK. I'm going to use a construction line. And I'm going to move that line downward at a distance of shell. Now if I bring back the lid, our lid goes all the way down beyond that, so that'll be very helpful for us as we go through. So shell is a good value for us here. We'll hit Finish Sketch. And now what we can do with our midplane set up, now we can go through and add a couple sketches. The reason for the midplane is because we're going to be using the mirrored feature to copy over some data really quickly for us. So we'll go ahead and we'll create a sketch and we'll choose one face. We're going to project our geometry of the box and we'll create a construction line that comes down from our midpoint and goes down the length of our shell. I'm then going to make a circle. That circle doesn't necessarily need to have a specific value. We're going to go relatively small. I'm going to go ahead and say 1 millimeter. And I forgot to turn off my construction tool. So what ends up happening is I can click on the circle and I'll see the construction option here. I can click it and that just makes it back to a normal circle. I'm going to finish that. And now I'm going to go ahead and extrude that value. I'm going to go out 1 millimeter. And it looks really drastic. It looks really extreme. But if we actually set that to 0.5 millimeters, we're going to go back and apply a fillet. That fillet, if we apply a 1 millimeter value, we'll see that it's obviously too large. We won't be able to do it. So if we add a 0.5 millimeter value, we now get something that looks reminiscent of a sphere. 0.7 is too large. You won't be able to go any larger than the extrusion value that you did before. Now, another way that we could go ahead and attempt to get our fillet a little bit closer to the object is if we click around the outside edge here, click on our front face here, and we can play ahead with a couple of the values that we have already tried. So if we take it and set it to 0.5, you get a much tighter object that's going to go here. It's not going to be nearly as bulky or invasive with our object that we have before. If I turn on the lid, we can see that it's going to clearly smash into over here with the lid. We'll hit OK. And now what we'll set up is a mirror in our patterns. Now for this, rather than choosing bodies, I'm going to choose features, and I'm going to choose the extrusion, and I'm going to choose the fillet. After I select those, I'm going to select my mirror plane. And now it's going to go ahead and automatically put that same bump on the opposite side. We'll click OK. And now we have our finished little fillet and interference. If you wanted to cause a lot of extra interference and make a tighter fit, we could do so just by doing the same sketch over here. You could also create an axis through the objects here that you could then ultimately do a circular pattern with. But for now, we're just going to keep it at the 2. Now with the 2 that we have set up, and with our lid set up, if we go back and view our whole object here, we can run a quick inspection. But before I do that, I'm actually going to hide my planes by turning off the construction here. And if I go and run my inspection, I'm going to do an interference detection. And we're going to choose all the bodies. And it says it's going to include coincident faces. That's okay. We're going to compute it. And we're going to get a couple values here. Now the coincident faces are where the top of our lid is resting on the top of our box. But then we also see our interference happening with these pegs that we put on the sides. That's a good sign for us. Normally, you might not want something like that because we can see that it's clearly bouncing really far into the object, but this is going to cause that interference fit that should hopefully help the lid stay on the box. So now that we've inspected that, we can go ahead and we can save our file. And we're saving it in our advanced manufacturing. We've got our practice, and this is going to be our parametric model. And then interference. We'll save it. And just as we've done before, we're going to go ahead, we're going to ground the box, and we'll apply an assembly joint to our lid. Now this one's a little bit more challenging because our we have our object that's a little bit more difficult to grab, especially with the hole in the center. So I'll turn off the box. I'll rotate this down to the bottom. And as I hold it on this inside face, if I hold down Control, I can now select that center of that circle. I'm going to turn on the box, hide the lid, and as I hold my mouse over this top face here, and I can bring it over to this by holding Control, I should now be able to preview my motion, which is exactly how we want it to go, minus it ghosting through the bottom. So we're going to put it at rest at 0. We're going to give it a minimum. We're going to give it a maximum. If I give it the maximum, let's just go ahead and use height. And I want to go up a little bit more, so I'll say height plus 30. That's pretty extreme, so I'll back that off and say height plus 10. Now if I preview the limits, we'll see that it goes up, hovers up above it a little bit, which is just perfect for us. We'll hit OK. We'll save it one more time. This time I'm going to add a milestone and just say slider joint. So that we have our basic setup for an interference fit. We also have our dovetail box, all kind of based off of the same idea of our previous box. The last one that we're going to do is a transition fit. So we have our clearance fit, we have our interference fit, and the last one that we're going to do is a transition fit.